Hi, this is Dan Clark from 0 to 60 Hypnosis. I have Jenn Schwartz on the line right now, who works with chronic pain clients with her clientele. So how are you doing, Jenn?
I'm good. Thanks for hosting me.
Just tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you do.
My name's Jenn Schwartz, and I have a brick and mortar studio in Alexandria, Virginia, which is right outside of Washington, D.C. And I host a podcast that's called Think Fit, Be Fit. And the clients that I serve in person are they have chronic injury, and they come to me for upgrading their entire way of doing fitness and having full body strength. And the tools that I use for that is called muscle activation techniques. And the program that I developed called movement pathways. And what that enables my students and clients to do is become their own fitness expert and learn about the body, their movement, and what the brain and what neuroscience is allowing us to change, which is pretty much everything. So I teach people how to upgrade their exercise after chronic injury.
You just mentioned neuroscience in the work that you do. Do you find that has become a more newer, it's upgraded and changed the way that you work in recent times as opposed to, I don't know, like 5+ years ago? Do you think like the way that we work with our clients has changed ever since the new discoveries, the new research that's coming that has been made?
Yeah.
Has that changed any way that you've worked?
Yeah, well, for me, it was the learning about neuroplasticity and neurogenesis and neuroscience in general was the spark for my whole entire career. I didn't have a career before I learned about neuroscience. Before that, I was a part-time student. I was a part-time bartender, and a part-time soccer coach or football coach, and I was doing a little bit of personal training. When I took a class in neuroscience and how it is applied to exercise, that is actually when my career started. And that was about 10, 11 years ago. And so to me, it's that subject and applying that and teaching people how to apply it is the essence of everything that I do. It's just everything is based on the fact that you are welcoming something new and that you are willing to do it with a mindful approach.
Absolutely. Because when I first started learning hypnotherapy, there was a lot of ambiguity that was surrounding it, such as certain imagery, certain visualizations, and all these airy-fairy imageries and guidances and of ways of working in that direction. When I found a new mentor who really streamlined everything and taught me a more pragmatic way of working, I was able to simplify all the simple steps into a real streamlined manner, and I can work a lot more simply. I can describe hypnosis in a more pragmatic manner that makes sense to regular people without being able to throw some rainbows and unicorn imagery their way and give a lot more credibility to the work that we do.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that it's discussed on mainstream websites is one of the most profound things that's going to happen, I believe, in this decade, because it's going to enable people like you and I to fix the problems that we're seeing our parents deal with. You know what I mean? Because they're in that fixed mindset where where they are missing out on so much life because they don't understand this capacity to change that neuroscience explains. And science brings a level of credibility, absolutely. But the word that comes to mind is eloquence, because there's a way to bridge something that's metaphysical to something that's physical, visual, and then that just alone is going to make help someone choose to have better results from all the wellness and things that they participate in, So I just feel such a profound gratitude for that the mainstream media is embracing neuroscience and helping people see that we grow new brain cells or kill them. It doesn't matter. The capacity is endless.
Yeah, because the mainstream is starting to pay attention to the work that we do.
Mm-hmm.
The medical bodies are also paying attention as a direct consequence of that. And it's those medical bodies that are key to making this more mainstream with our parents and the people from the older generation.
Mm-hmm.
They're the people that they're going to be listening to the medical professionals before
Mm-hmm.
they listen to us.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Once the medical professionals are, saying things like neuroplasticity and neuroscience, hypnosis, and how all these things are working with their issues, if
Mm-hmm.
it's not readily available from the medical professionals, they can take us out, just like kind of skipping the waiting list that they may have to endure with that, which I think is totally awesome.
Definitely. Absolutely.
What kind of issues do your clients present themselves with?
I think the number one common trait of my clients is that they are about 80%, 70 to 80% of where they want to be. Sometimes in my in-person business, it is different because I'll see people with much more severe types of pain and injury. But as far as like the online student, they have had some type of injury and they just know that they know that they don't want it to come back. And I help them understand that boogeyman, and I help them take scientific anatomy-based information and apply it to this like new age thing that we're talking about, which is the mind and the body connecting on a productive level for that, whatever their goals are. So a lot of old sports injuries is the short answer to that, because a lot of they tend to be about my age too, which is like an older millennial, like late 30s, and we have all accumulated like sports injuries. Like in the States, like everyone plays like 3 to 5 sports a year when you're a kid. Like that's just the way things are. And so a lot of old sports injuries.
Okay. Because one of the techniques I can use with hypnosis is something called glove anesthesia. Is that something that you do as well?
No, tell me about that.
Glove anesthesia is simply having a state of hypnosis, whether the eyes are open or closed, that does not matter. And then start to suggest that the sensations in the hand is getting colder and number, and use certain suggestions to help that sensation just get colder, just like feel that sensation in the hands just numbing.
Wow.
And then transferring that feeling to the affected area.
Yeah, totally.
I've done this a couple of times
Yeah.
with dental issues where they've had some kind of pain in their mouth, and I've just transferred that sensation to where it needs to be.
That's powerful.
It's
Yeah,
important
no,
to recognize that we don't turn that sensation all the way down to a zero so that the pain is gone. It's important to keep that sensation on a number 1 or number 2 on a scale of 1 to 10. So that pain is still, it's still registered. You still know that there's a pain and an injury right there, because it's important to know that your body is telling you, hey, this needs attention. So just keeping that level on a 1 or a 2 just keeps it at a level where you know it's there, you know it needs attention. If you need to go see a doctor or a dentist or a chiropractor or someone like you, they need to get that appointment in with you as soon as possible.
That's amazing.
And then I anchor in the suggestion that the pain, the anesthesia will last until their appointment with you.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So I give people very they're like isometric exercises and little assessments that they do on their body, which increases mindfulness, right? And adding something like what you just mentioned in there would make that light on the mindfulness, on that focus point, so much brighter. That's pretty amazing.
And also, what is also cool is like using the similar kind of suggestion with the cold hands. With the other hand, have a hot hand and use them as like cold and hot pads, just for rheumatic injuries or sports injuries. In the same way that you use like the deep heat cream.
Oh yeah, yeah. Huh. That's fascinating.
This stuff is pretty awesome, right?
I mean, yeah, I've had, significant experiences personally with hypnosis and changing my identity as as from a person that felt injured and felt damaged to a person that was inspired and enlightened and have enough abundance to like share with people. And so I know I would not be where I am now if I had not found hypnosis in 2012 as a tool for myself.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah. When you said that you was having feelings of being injured, was that literal or metaphorical?
It was pretty literal. I mean, it was, I guess the metaphor too, if you're, no, I think it was pretty literal. Like, I mean, we all have some type of joint wear and tear. Like if you ask a medical professional to do a scan of your entire body and your spine, we'll all have an injury underneath the surface.
Yeah.
Like they're there. Like I have studies and longitudinal meta-analysis that support what I just said. And the thing is that if you choose to focus on that and worry about your diagnosis and worry about this finding that was brought to your attention, you will spend energy trying to fix something, and that need to feel like I need to fix it, I have to fix it, that pairs exactly with that identity that I was saying. Like I felt broken, I felt I wasn't empowered to be healthy. I was like I was in this like scarce mindset of I have all this damage. So that's kind of, I mean, so literally I think everyone has some type of injury. preventing it from getting worse or even initiating like a self-healing process, that is a choice. It doesn't happen spontaneously.
Absolutely. And you say there, that is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find that simply the suggestion that you were damaged, that intensified that feeling?
Absolutely. Yes. That's what I mean. So for example, since the invention of magnetic resonance imaging, MRIs, the amount of back surgery and back pain treatments has quadrupled in like 20 years. And not since the invention, but since the use of using it for my back hurts. And any real professional that is helping people with their physical body, and they just look at one image of your back from 10 seconds of you just sitting still. It's more like 30 minutes, not 10 seconds, but 30 minutes of your life. They look at one picture, they're doing a disservice to you, because that suggestion will create something called the nocebo effect, which is your brain creates pain and creates more pain with anxiety. And so much so that that pain receptors in the spine and the joint, the mechanoreceptors, have receptors for anxiety, like basically adrenaline. So adrenaline literally increases the pain signal, and or the norepinephrine and adrenaline interaction, and that alone is one of the reasons why there's so many people getting back surgery, and only 22% of people are actually satisfied with the outcome of their surgery. It's because, the suggestion was very, they got it, they received it, and they grew with it. And so, yeah, I definitely think the suggestion is such a big piece of your outcome as far as chronic pain and exercise go.
It could be as simple as the doctor's simply suggesting that, your back is now feeling wonderful, it's feeling straight, and the posture is in its correct position. That can simply be a strong enough suggestion to rectify that.
I know.
And people give themselves certain suggestions that say, "Oh, well, that didn't work," or that that wasn't as good as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
We tend to slip into old habits, and it wouldn't surprise me if the issues start recurring.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and I think just that little anecdote and, look at the industry, the pain treatment industry, completely validates like what, the first thing we brought up, which is like your profession of, are you being a professional suggester,
Yeah.
And, gosh, yeah, it really, I try not to get into a path of like empathy for everyone that gets bad information, or lost in context from their medical professional. But it happens all the time.
It's just like everything is suggestion.
Yeah, I know. What's reality?
Yeah. An example of that, if we are using our techniques as if we go back to the suggestion of a scale of 1 to 10, with 1, if 0 is complete pain free and 10 is the most excruciating pain, and you ask one of your clients that pain that you're feeling, that sensation, just to kind of because it's, simply the word pain is a suggestion that it's a really it's a really bad thing. On that scale of 0 to 10, with 10 being the most excruciating pain, whereabouts is that sensation on that scale? And the client gives
Yeah.
you a number, let's say number 7, for argument's sake.
Mm-hmm.
And then you simply have them imagine that pail knocks it down to a 6, a 5, a 4, as low as they possibly can get it. And sometimes they can like knock it up a notch, say that it's now up to a number 8.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, in fact, that's an incredibly good thing, because that's a demonstration that if their mind can simply turn that sensation up a notch,
Mm-hmm.
they are in full control of that pain, that
Mm-hmm.
sensation. So if they can turn that pain up, they can also turn it down.
Mm-hmm.
So simply empowering the client and giving them full control of that sensation,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's placebo, nocebo, whatever it may be,
Mm-hmm.
it's powerful. This stuff is powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it also, when you, when, like, let's say an athlete places themselves into this, this mind cycle or mindset of they have a lack of control over their situation, pain, they're sitting on the bench, they don't like it. That I've seen alone cause more pain, like in just like a real life scenario as a coach, like a total third party, not intervening. I saw it happen. Yeah, I've seen it happen multiple times, and I also can, with my skill set, the thing that I do every single day, which is muscle activation techniques. We test muscles, about 450 muscle tests. They get very specific, and we look at how quickly the brain and the muscle are communicating. So if you have an injury, a limp, right? Like something that's causing you a limp, and that is a good thing. You need that inflammation, you need that limp for a short period of time for everything to heal. And so when that happens, the muscle activity dampens all around the joint. And so there's less strength, there's more inflammation, less temperature control, like it's in a high stress state, right? And with that comes weakened muscles. And when I have somebody visualize the injury when they're healed and I'm on the table with them, symptoms will come back, inflammation will come back a little bit, and the muscle weakness will come back. So just the thought of being in that same situation that they're fearful of, something that happened in the past, will set off this whole entire cycle of injury, inflammation, limping with no injury present.
It's those neural pathways that were created during the injury process.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, they're it's absolutely brilliant in one way, and then completely it's just not ready for this modern life that we live. It's just not the same. We don't have the same demands. We don't have the same stressors. So I think it's one of the big not the problems that our generation has to solve, is how do we increase adaptability in this crazy world?
Is that the last 10 years especially? Just the amount of information that is fed to us through TV, through the internet, that has helped to just like plant certain suggestions that really feed into this. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's crazy.
Yes, and same going back to when you had your own hypnosis for your own transformation, as well as like moving away from the person that you were, that was injured and moving towards this free person that you've become now?
Mm-hmm.
Was was
Go
that
ahead.
just a bunch of suggestion work? Was this self-hypnosis, or did you see a hypnotherapist?
So I've seen, yes, definitely a hypnotherapist. I've used Reiki a lot. I do a lot of self Reiki currently and have been for several years. And I've used muscle activation techniques, which is not, I know it's not in the same category, but they align so well together that combining the two back to back really works. And energy work, outside of that, I've done some energy work with a practitioner that does mostly craniosacral therapy, and that really increases my game. Like, it just puts me all the way up here. Like, I'm a high performer day in and day out. Like, I take my mission and my job very seriously. But her work just, I can do anything when I am tuned in. And it started out as like, so that's where I am now. But where I started is I felt like it was the cherry on top of all the talk therapy that I was doing. And that I had done for the loss of my mother, from like, I had some PTSD that I was working through, and, just being like, I was in survival mode for probably, I don't know, that was, I can't even count how long that, and like childhood trauma. So I'd been doing so much talk therapy, and chose never to medicate, but used meditation and yoga before that. And I didn't realize there was this whole other world out there that was, aligning energy and helping me be more of a conscious part of the universe. And I had to say, and I've been very steady and dedicated to that practice ever since I found it in 2011 or 12 or something like that. And I refer out to it very frequently in my practice. I'd say it's a part of my business big time, as far as like partners and referrals go, because I can't see how people can climb the uphill battle that is chronic injury without it. Like, I don't know how.
So when you refer clients to hypnotherapists, it's more about the mind game and like the mindset aspect rather than the physical aspect.
For my clients, it's more, I tell them it's more about the trauma of whatever it is that's in their system. If it's chemical trauma, emotional trauma, past life trauma, if they're even open to me saying that, and or physical trauma. So to me, it's not, mindset is very important, obviously, and mindfulness is very important. But I believe that hypnosis and various energy work is a different category. And healing trauma is the only way you can make space for your physical body to manifest whatever greatness you want to do, whether that's a marathon, or if you want to do it successfully, I think you have to make room for that to happen.
Absolutely. Because if you're dealing with trauma, anxiety, depression, or whatever debilitating negative emotion it is, it just completely overtakes you. It consummates you. And does, like you just said, it just does not leave room for any kind of motivation to even get out the house, sometimes out of the bed, because
Well, and if they do, it's like they're doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah, it's that thing is their world.
Yep. Yep.
And that's an entirely that is like a real strong niche, especially with the anxiety myself, one that I focus a lot on.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a strong subject that us hypnotherapists work with.
Mm. Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna lead it in a different direction then.
Oh, let's do it.
Okay. Do you use self-hypnosis?
No. Tell me, so what is self-hypnosis exactly?
It's a variation of meditation, depending on how you go about it and how you focus on it. For me, when I do that, I want to focus on whether it's an affirmation or simply suggestion. I want to simplify that suggestion as much as I possibly can. And then how I do that, I simply just focus on a point on the wall, and I really go to that point on the wall. I get a little bit lazy-eyed and I'm still focusing on this point, and that simple affirmation is just there. And then when I'm just like completely just like feeling myself, I just close my eyes and then allow my subconscious to do all the work.
Okay.
I set a time limit of maximum 10 minutes. I don't think I need much more than that per session. That is generally how I go about self-hypnosis.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's good. Yeah. So I didn't have I do versions of that I was calling manifestation, and having a very powerful moment with, I guess like similar to like the law of attraction. And so that's kind of the direction I go in. Recently, past 6 months, about once a month, I've been going into a float tank. Are those popular where you are?
They are definitely about. I'm yet to try it myself, although it's at the back of my mind that, that looks awesome. I'd like to try that out.
Yeah. I would say that is another high, like it helps me double down on the time that I put into, meditating, manifesting, self-hypnosis, and getting the external energy work. I mean, to me, it's non-negotiable way of taking care of myself. I see someone twice a month for my own work, and then when I do the float tank, I don't know, I really like it. It activates some other it activates something subconsciously that I know I can do on my own. Like I don't need the sensory deprivation, but dang, it's such a good tool.
Yeah, perhaps you motivated me to give my local flotation tank center a call.
Yeah, I'll give you. Yeah, I've got. Yeah, the first 10 minutes are going to be weird. You're gonna it'll throw you off. And then after that, it's good. Like, and when I do I do some breath work in there, and there's more resistance to doing it because there's no ego. There's nothing. You're in water and you're naked at body temperature. The water is your body temperature. And so just like being in nature, when by yourself, without your phone, right? Like it provides this natural resistance and a safe place for you to improve and be more sharp and blend the critical and the creative mind, and it's cool. So yes, I highly recommend.
I shall take on that recommendation. Yeah, so I'll start to bring this home right now. Is
Okay.
there anything else like that you'd like to share?
I mean, no, I really felt like I could share something really special with your audience, and that is, that's just such a wonderful exchange. Um, if any of you all are curious about how I can serenade you about chronic injury and fitness, my podcast is called Think Fit, Be Fit. There's a picture of me with a barbell on it, and I have guests on, and I have some solo cast. It's a whole mix of I call it fitness insider information. If you want to level up your game, that's where you should come. And I also have a injury prevention and injury recovery course, an online course. It's all on the podcast, but that's called Movement Pathways. And that is a beautiful evolving project that I'm very excited to share with people, because it's about 4 years in the making.
That sounds so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put the links up so that they can easily get in touch and link up with your podcast and with your program.
Okay, thank you so much.
We've got a lot we can talk about, so we should probably do this again real soon.
Yeah, we can talk about something more specific. We can talk like injury-wise. I can share, stuff about anatomy, things about neuroscience that I know can help people become, better students of their body, better hypnosis practitioners, and or we could talk about the stuff that we're learning and reading in the neuroscience space. I would love that too.
We shall definitely do that soon.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll share all that stuff, and we'll catch up soon.
Absolutely, Jen. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye.